How are you? Something's bugging me. I really think we need to talk. Random note. You know what? I think we need to have mandatory IQ tests for anybody running for public office. Mandatory IQ tests. If you're going to run for office, you're going to take an IQ test. This would serve multiple wonderful purposes because imagine this in the press when they're writing a story about someone. They don't just say, like, oh, Mitch McConnell, R in parentheses. Instead of putting R in parentheses referring to their party affiliation, instead put their IQ test, their IQ results in parentheses next to their name, and then continue the sentence instead of their party affiliation. Because it makes more sense. It provides more context. Like, imagine reading this. It's just like fucking instead of, because Beto O'Rourke takes exuberant amounts of fossil fuel money. D in parentheses. Beto O'Rourke, D in parentheses, takes an exorbitant amount of fossil fuel money. So fuck party affiliation. How about instead of that, let's go this route. Put their IQ test. When you're writing, you imagine reading, okay, you're reading a Washington Post story, and it says, Lauren Boebert, 70, says climate change is a hoax. Oh, okay. Well, that provides me some context as to who is saying this. Because sometimes people who are right go against the grain. So you always wonder sometimes, well, is this someone going against the grain because, they exorbitantly bright mind, they going, they're challenging the status quo, and maybe they're outthinking Lauren Boebert, 70, says climate change is a hoax. Thank you. Marjorie Taylor Greene, 70, proposes anti-transgender bathroom bill and tells Blair White to go into the men's room. Do you know what Blair White looks like? Because the Republicans would have her going into the men's room. So, like, if you need to, you can pause this, open a new tab, go to images.google.com, and just do a Google image search, Blair White, and then after you see pictures of Blair White, imagine her going into the men's room. Or the other route. If you're in panic attack over the women's room, do the other image search. Do a Google search for Buck Angel. If you don't know who Buck Angel is, do a search for that trans man. Do a search for Buck Angel and picture him going into the women's room because that's where the Republicans would have him going. They would have Buck Angel going into the women's room. Talk about an uncomfortable moment. Yeah, a lot more of an uncomfortable moment than just somebody wanting pee. Oh, god damn bless. Like, Republicans have this idea of like trans women like just roving about bathrooms, peeking under stalls to look at some crusty Karen's vag or something. And and by the way, let me just suggest that waiting for a legal loophole to get into the bathroom to commit assault, which is already illegal. You won't commit assault. That's illegal. It's way worse than going into the wrong bathroom. So, like, but waiting for like a legal loophole to walk into the bathroom to commit assault. That's like waiting for a legal loophole to jaywalk so that you can cross the street to rob a bank. Because robbing a bank is already exorbitantly illegal. Like, fuck. Like, you're worried about them going into the bathroom to do what? Some horrific thing that's way worse than the idiot. Stop it. But this is why we need IQ tests for people running for office. And because I just heard something playing in the background, something else hilarious to me. Well, we're talking about hilarious things because that's what this particular video is about. Hilarious things. Things that are hilarious. This isn't even a particularly political video. I reserve the right to get political because that's what I do. But nonetheless, a non-political point. Rock and roll. What happened? What in the fuck happened to rock and roll? Have you heard rock and roll lately? Have you tuned into the radio and listened to this shit that they're playing on the radio? Like, for context, imagine Nickelback. That should be the punchline. That should be the punchline. Imagine Nickelback. That should be the punchline. Because imagine shit. No. But I continue. Imagine Nickelback playing a Led Zeppelin song. Can you picture it's not the same thing. Rock and roll today is like it's not even a shadow of what rock and roll was. Nickelback, Green Day, oh, Green Day. 9-Inch Nails. What that's bullshit. What happened to? That's my question to you. What happened to rock and roll? Like, Christ, there were bands way back before rock and roll was rock and roll as we know it. There were bands that referred to themselves as monkeys, and they were better than Nickelback. Oh, what? So what happened to rock and roll? As far as to get off of the subject of rock and roll, let's talk about something substantive, right? Something substantive. We can all laugh at something substantive. How about Mr. Potato Head? Yeah, the real meat and potatoes of the issues. We're talking about Mr. fucking Potato Head. Was in the news, was trending on Twitter, and was all over Fox News. Everybody's panicking, and it's not just the right. It's not just the ideological right. The left did it with Dr. Seuss. Dr. Seuss was under fire from the left. It's stupid. Fucking hell. But Mr. Potato Head apparently dropped the Mr. from the potato head, and now it's a gender-neutral potato. So now it's a gender-neutral potato. And the ideological right is freaking out. No, we need to have our potatoes, masculine potatoes. I demand masculine potatoes. Oh, come on. This is the way that you want to force the dialogue? Oh, I think the left is going to win elections in the near future. Anyhow, Mr. Potato Head dropped the Mr. It's now a gender-neutral potato. And it's not just, it's a vegetable. It's not just a potato. It's a plastic potato. It's a toy. Like, if you want a Mr. Potato, get the Mr. Potato. If you want a Mrs. Potato, there's literally a Mrs. Potato Head. Get Mrs. Potato Head. You can get both of them in mix match if you want to play with gender. You can do that too. Like, what the fuck? You get Mr. Potato Head, and then get all the Mrs. Potato Head accessories and put it on Mr. Potato Head, and then you have a transgender potato head. What the fuck? It's a potato. Who cares? Oh, God. And the right wing went nuts. The right wing. Oh. It's a plastic potato. You're going to make me lose my mind. It's like some things do make you lose your mind. Like, it makes you at least feel like you're losing your mind. It's like when you tune in to CNN. And listen to fucking what's that? Mitch McConnell. listening to Mitch McConnell talk about domestic policy. It makes you feel like you're losing your mind. This is what they call gaslighting. Like Mitch McConnell, I mean, listening to him talk about domestic policy, it starts making you have dark thoughts. Like, somebody like myself, I don't wish harm on anybody, but turn on the news and watch Mitch McConnell speak, and suddenly the dark thoughts start pouring in. Like this is somebody that I would like to strap to a rolling hospital bed and just kind of push over the edge of the Empire State Building. And as he's disappearing over the precipice of the Empire State Building, just kind of, shout out over the edge of this, just shout out over the edge, like, no, no social safety net down there. Bye. Oh, shit. Pull yourself up by your bootstraps. Bootstraps. Things that make you go crazy. It's political dialogue in this nation makes you go fucking crazy. I'm losing it. I'm losing my mind. I'm losing my mind. Jesus H. Goodness.